What is going on, everybody? We're here. We're live. Happy Monday. I'm sorry we were late.
That's my fault. I'll take total blame for it.
It's true. It was Jay's fault. We just got caught up talking a bunch of shit about people. We were just slamming everybody, saying this dude's fucking retarded. We got caught up talking shit, and we're like, oh shit, we gotta go. We gotta go live.
Yeah. It's my fault.
We were catching up on, over the weekend, stuff like that. So, despite what you may think, Jay and I quite literally never talk except on this stream. So.
Well, I know you're a busy man, dude. You are a busy bee. So
yeah, I'm busy and not very sociable. So yeah, that's just how it works. Jay messaged me all the time.
I do.
I just don't reply. But no.
It's
Jay, how was your weekend?
Pretty dull and hot. That's about it. Nothing special, nothing done. That's about it. I tried to get to I was trying to get to the Magic Kingdom to record the new parade, but I got locked out. I couldn't make it. So
somebody brought that up to me on my stream the other day that there's a new parade that debuted at Magic Kingdom. So that's cool.
It's an old parade at Disneyland, but they brought it over. It's the light parade that happens at night, and you needed some special tickets, and I couldn't get it. I tried. So I did absolutely nothing. That's about it.
Well, there you go.
That's about it.
Parade's not really my thing. Not too much.
No.
We've seen when we do when Universal's got the Mardi Gras thing, sometimes you kind of get caught in the middle of that one, catch some beads.
Fan interactive, and I appreciate that. Universal's the Great Movie Parade. I don't know if you saw that one. That one was my favorite. They brought out Jaws. They brought out Chief Brody, the mayor. Quint was there interacting with people. They brought out Back to the Future. They were out interacting with people. E.T., all the old classics. Jurassic World, the first movie. They brought all that stuff. They didn't do Jurassic Park. They did Jurassic World for some reason. They had a Chris Pratt lookalike walking around looking for
Jurassic
blue.
World.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's in the spirit of E.T., Back to the Future, Jaws. You think they would do the original Jurassic Park? Instead, they did Jurassic World for some reason. I don't know. Anyway,
Velocicoaster is a Jurassic World ride, and that thing's pretty cool, pretty popular.
Jurassic stuff is, whether people love it or hate it, still does pretty well. I hear this one's doing pretty well in the box office too. Rebirth. So
I mean, it all kind of does depend on your perspective. Like we said, it is doing well. It is going to make money, a significant amount of money. But it is also, I think it's probably going to end up in that run, 850, 900 million, somewhere around there, which is we're seeing
almost
diminishing returns. We're seeing diminishing returns from the Jurassic World stuff. The first one went the fuck off. Fallen Kingdom, significant drop off, and then Dominion just crossed $1 billion, and then this one too. So we are seeing some kind of diminishing returns from it, but there's no doubt it's a better bet right now especially at 180, $200 million, whatever they spent on it. It's a better bet than, I don't know, a superhero movie. At least that's what it feels like at this point in time.
And speaking of theme parks, I just got the alert that there is a heat advisory at Universal Studios. Temperatures will feel upwards to 118 degrees.
118?
That's what it says. That's what it will feel like at Universal Studios.
If the real feel was like 109, 110 the other day.
Yeah.
Which was pretty bad. 118? That's getting rough. See, this is what our heat waves feel like, you fucking Brits. God.
I guess if you're standing near like a big mechanical machine that's pushing out heat, you could feel 118. Maybe if you're standing in the middle of the concrete pavement when the sun is beaming down and there's no shade inside, I guess it could feel.
Yeah, it gets like 76 degrees Fahrenheit over
crazy.
there. Like,
Boy,
we can't go anywhere. It's too hot.
You've been to Universal over the summer when you've seen people visiting from like the north, and it's like 3 hours in, dude. Whew. They're having a rough day. They're having a rough day. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, but British people, you know, we know it's rough out there. All right, Alex McCarthy says, fantastic RK3PO, Meta PC, RK Outpost, or Drunk 3PO.
Thank you.
Yeah, Fantastic Four's set to hit theaters this week. Only a couple more days. Kevin Feige. No Comic-Con presentation, nothing like that. Gary reminded me the other day. Gary reminded me that it was like the 6-year anniversary of the first meetup that they ever had at San Diego Comic-Con. And that's actually the one that I went to. And I said, the only reason you fucking know that is because you saw some stupid headline about it being the 6-year anniversary since Kevin Feige announced that Mahershala Ali would be playing Blade.
Oh my gosh, really?
Like, yes, that is how he knew. But yeah, 6 years, and we're still talking about Blade, still talking about a movie that's still being written. Kevin Feige spoke a lot about Marvel. We have a lot to go through, some big articles. One of the highlights was when he was asked specifically about what do you have for the criticisms of people that say, the MCU's full of DEI and it's woke and it's one of the problems and blah, blah, blah. We're going to get to that. We are going to get to that. Don't worry. We have to address it. We have to talk about it. I Canalist for $5. And I'm proud to be an American where at least I have AC. And I won't forget the Brits who died in the heat wave of 2003. I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. I Canalist. Not gonna lie, it's pretty good. But we might as well hop right into this Kevin Feige thing. There is a decent amount to talk about. He talks about Kang. He talks about the Fantastic Four. He talks about a lot of shit. So let's jump right in. Let the music pull you in, Jay. Marvel boss Kevin Feige on his future at the studio. Blade update and why Fantastic Four needed a reboot. I appreciate when they have this is like the graphic for this article. I appreciate when the graphic looks like they put about as much effort in as I do to my YouTube thumbnails. I really do. And it makes me feel, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing, but neither does anyone else.
It looks terrible. They definitely made that on their phone. They definitely made that on their phone.
Yeah. I could whip that up in 30 seconds right here.
Right, easy. Pretty
I got
easy.
a couple standard Kevin Feige images, right? I've got in Canva is what I used to make my thumbnails. And I've got a couple standard ones. One of them I used in this stream today. But one he's like,
yeah, he's got the look.
You know what I'm like? That might have been the one that I used today. But yeah. Anyway, when it comes to the future of Marvel Studios, which has taken its licks this year with Misfires, Thunderbolts, and Captain America: Brave New World, it's funny how when those movies came out, all these people tried to tell us they were massive successes.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Right? How the spin was in, massive successes, huge opening, blah, blah, blah. It's almost like that's what we see for every one of these fucking movies that comes out. The number one superhero box office brand isn't letting up. Marvel Studios producer and president Kevin Feige hosted a sit-down with the press at Marvel's Burbank HQ, gesturing towards a series of locked doors in the meeting room. It's a 7-year plan, teases Feige. I think it goes to 2032. It's on magnets. It can move around. Feige's feeling particularly chipper. What the hell is this? Why does it want me to buy this thing? Kevin Feige is particularly... What is that? I don't know. That's Shadow. I guess that's the girl from the thing. I have no idea what the fuck this is. I'll pass on that, though. Marvel's skipping San Diego Comic-Con this year as they remain knee-deep in production on the Russo brothers' Avengers Doomsday and in prep for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Blah, 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 blah. They talk about Fantastic Four and why they needed to reboot it. Why Fantastic Four? Because it's Marvel's first family. It's in the history of our characters. They deserve to be A-listers. They were A-listers in the comics. Every crossover movie we made in the Infinity Saga, Civil War, leading to Infinity War and Endgame, which is really the Infinity Saga from the comics, the Fantastic Four were huge players in those comics, and obviously we couldn't do that then. Talking about the Fox merger. And that's one thing we talked about a lot with a lot of these storylines and stuff. And I feel like that's one of the reasons we may have been forgiving about some of the way that things played out in Civil War like that, taking it from the comics to the screen, is because quite frankly, they didn't have those characters.
Yes.
You know, they didn't have X-Men. They didn't have Fantastic Four, who should have played major roles in both of those things.
Easy.
Now, one thing they were very quick to point out is, hey, you don't need to watch anything else to watch this movie. It's completely standalone, no references to anything. Don't worry, no homework. Just come and watch it, guys. It's a no homework required. Go see the movie. It's literally not connected to anything we've made before. It kicks off Phase 6.
Are they learning?
So go ahead.
Are they learning? Are they learning? Like, have they heard the cry of the people saying, we're not watching your crap if I got to do homework? Maybe.
I think we have heard that from them over and over again. So maybe this is finally when they're starting to roll that out and adjust it. But just think of it this way. The next movie literally has, like, you will have needed to watch probably 50 movies and like 70 TV shows that occurred over the past 25 years to know where all these characters are from. So even if there's very little required for this, Avengers Doomsday is a completely different beast. Getting access, and this is a big point of contention within this story that's getting talked about a lot. Getting access to the Fox Marvel characters has enabled Feige to plus up the next 2 Avengers movies with the most notorious antagonist in the comic books, Doctor Doom. While the original plan for Avengers movie announced at Comic-Con 2019 was going to feature Jonathan Majors' Kang the Conqueror as the main baddie, the character's future was thrown into question after the actor's arrest for assaulting his then-girlfriend in early 2023. Feige says, even before what had happened to the actor, we'd started to realize that Kang wasn't Thanos.
Oh, really? You mean you didn't think about that before you decided to go all in? You mean you didn't have like some people sitting around like the round table and say, you know, Kang might not be the one. This might not be the big bad that we're looking for. It might not draw the... Really? But that's such a cop-out, man. After it fails and bombs, you're like, yeah, sorry.
There was only one character that could be, because he was in that comic for decades and decades, because the Fox acquisition, we finally had it, and that's Doctor Doom. We'd started talking about Doctor Doom even before we officially pivoted from Kang. In fact, I'd started talking about Robert with this audacious idea before Ant-Man 3 ever came out. Now, I think that this is full of mistruths. I think there's...
Agreed.
I think that there's some truth to it, and what I will
Sorry
say
for yelling,
is...
chat.
I 100% believe that after Ant-Man 3 Quantumania bombed at the box office and the reception to Kang was not good, I 100% believe they were like, this is not going to work. And remember, when all the fucking Jonathan Majors stuff was coming out, I said, look, I don't think that he should be fired because of accusations, whatever. I think they should get rid of him because he fucking sucks as Kang and no one gives a fuck about that character. That's why you should move off from it. I 100% believe those were the feelings after that movie bombed. I do not believe they started talking to Robert Downey Jr. about Doctor Doom before Ant-Man 3 came out. No fucking
I
way.
agree.
No way.
I agree. Ant-Man 3 was supposed to be the big kickoff. And I guess and that movie was just awful. I mean, the whole film was just awful. I gave that one of the worst ratings ever. It just was a film of convenience. It had no stakes. Nothing happened. It was just terrible. So from start to finish, it was just a terrible movie. So, but yeah, I agree with you. I think they had a lot planned out with Kang to do a whole bunch of stuff. He could be a cool character if they did it correctly, but it's just they didn't know what they were doing back then. And like I think Kang was a complete DEI type of thing when all that stuff was being pushed very heavily back then. It was a complete like, hey, we're using diversity kind of thing. That's what I think it was. It had nothing to do with anything else but that. And that's why the audience we could see that from a mile away. That's why it sucked. So
Jonathan Majors in both the appearances in Loki and in Quantumania came off to me as a theater actor. That's how he felt on the screen. And I don't think it played well. Quantumania was not good, and it was not a good way to set up any sort of hero. It fucking bombed, rightfully so, understandably so. And I 100% believe that after that massive failure, they were like, what the fuck are we going to do? I think that Jonathan Majors getting in trouble gave them an easy out.
It gave him an easy out, exactly.
And regardless of whoever wants to make any arguments about Jonathan Majors, like for the record, he admitted to all of this. It's on tape, like all of this stuff. So for those big Jonathan Majors stands out there, just so you know.
You know what they could have done? They could have just kept Kang on Disney Plus and just did a series of a group of people going after the different variations of Kang in a series. That might have worked better than trying to make him like the Thanos character, but it's current MCU, so maybe not.
Yeah. And then they get into all the new characters that they have access to, some of the cameos that have happened in the past. And then they say, speaking of Blade, despite being taken off the calendar, the project remains in development with two-time Oscar winner Mahershala Ali still attached. The movie with the actor was first announced at SDCC 2019, 6 years ago, with Ali taking Hall H stage and what was then a huge announcement of the MCU's plans across cinema and Disney+. This is back when it was Kang Dynasty, all of that stuff, right? Feige revealed on Friday that while there were four versions of Blade in the works, two of them period pieces, we landed on modern day, and that's what we're focusing on. On pausing Blade after the exit of two filmmakers, Feige says, we didn't want to put on a leather outfit on Ali and have him start killing vampires. You can start and have a... Now, what he means by that is I think he means like what he's trying to say is we didn't have a script that we thought could work.
Okay,
so we didn't want to get into
that's literally Blade.
100%. He absolutely should be doing that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the movie. That's not complicated.
I think the way I would have phrased this if I was him was I said, look, we were really excited for Blade and really want to do something cool. We didn't have a good script. We didn't have a script that we felt we could work. So could we just put him in a leather outfit, have him start killing vampires and figure out the rest? Maybe. We want to do that, but we want to do it the right way. I think if you phrase it that way, it probably would go over better than just that line in and of itself. You can start and have a good script and make it a great script through production, but we didn't feel confident we could do that on Blade. We didn't want to do that to Mahershala and didn't want to do that to us. People asking if Ryan Coogler is going to take it over, blah, 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 all this stuff. They talk about the bombing of the Marvels. They talk about how all the struggles they've had, Disney Plus, blah, blah, blah. And Kevin Feige says similar things before about, you know, we just got too much into quantity over quality. There was too much TV stuff going on. We let things slip. We let things pass by us, blah, blah, blah. He also brings up that You know, after Secret Wars, we're going to see basically a full one timeline reboot. You're going to see fresh faces playing this. X-Men's going to be what's used to kind of kick that off, and they're going to be different casted. You're going to see probably Captain America and Iron Man get recasted somehow in the MCU going forward after that point. All of this shit. And then he says, with regard to Feige's future, whether there's more Marvel under him, he's not going anywhere. While his contract's up in 2 years, he tells us, do I want to be making big movies for big audiences in 10 or 15 years from now? Yes, that's all I want to do. Marvel is a great way to do that. Now, depending on what exact question was asked and if that was his full answer, that's not exactly saying I'm not going anywhere. But you could view it that way if you want. The most
I don't know.
The most interesting interview that we saw was actually from The Wrap. It had everything to do with DEI and diversity, Jay. Kevin Feige stands by Marvel's diversity. Marvel's the world outside your window. I said this before woke and DEI became a thing, and I'm still saying it after. While right-wing backlash against Hollywood's efforts of diversity, equity, inclusion, or DEI, has led studios to back off corporate efforts to advance the practice, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige said he stands by his studio's efforts over the past several years to increase representation on set and on the big screen with characters like Black Panther and Ms. Marvel, and suggested the MCU won't be pivoting away from that. I said this before woke and DEI became a thing, and I'm still saying it after. Marvel is the world outside your window, Feige told reporters on Friday. It's not Gotham and Metropolis. This is New York and LA. And yes, there's also Wakanda and Asgard, but it's all made up of people who make up our world. Well, that explains the MCU. It's only catering to people from New York and LA, Jay.
But there's also Wakanda.
Yeah, there's Wakanda and Asgard, but it's made up of, people who make up our world. That's why Wakanda is filled with so many white people.
And obviously. Asgard.
We did have to add diversity to Asgardians because we wanted to reflect the world. We didn't add a bunch of white people to Wakanda because we just wanted to look at this certain street in New York City. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But
it's a weird statement.
It is weird. But look, Black Panther is a character who's been around the comics for decades and decades and decades, and is a pretty important character. Yes. So when you decide to include him in these stories and stuff like that and have a standalone movie, incredibly well marketed towards all the demographics they wanted to come out, they showed up to support that movie. It was really, really big. That kind of makes sense because that's a character with a lot of history. When you then decide to take the same approach and push these characters that no one gives two fucks about.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Ironheart, right? When you decide to go all in on these characters, bring in America Chavez, bring in all this all new, all different Marvel, these characters that failed, Jane Foster's Thor, all this shit. When you decide to put the focus on those characters, that's how you end up in situations like this. And you know who told us that they were going to do this? It was Kevin fucking Feige. Yes. Exclusive. Marvel will soon have more female heroes than male heroes. Marvel boss wants more female than male heroes in the MCU. Kevin Feige said this in 2018, after they had reached these heights off the back of male heroes that people love from the comic books. He said that he was going to push for that, and that's what he's attempted to do. As much as you want to say that it's reflective of the world outside our window, there's also a reality that this is a world that is reflective of the comic books where they're getting these characters from. So you have to take that into consideration. And if characters were not popular when they were introduced in the comic books, there's a good chance that a lot of people aren't going to be too keen to see them on the big screen if nobody knows who they fucking are. Then all that you have to stand on is your storytelling ability. And when your storytelling ability is way too focused on all the virtue signaling that you're trying to do, regardless of which character's involved, you're going to have a product that is lesser. Your story's going to suffer. That's what we've watched happen in the MCU.
I couldn't have said it better. You're absolutely correct. It's trash. Storytelling's been trash. And also, some of the female leads that could have been done very well, such as She-Hulk. You gave us the most ridiculous version of that character I think we have ever seen. Straight garbage. And I don't even know what you were going for with that, but that's just one example of a few. Valkyrie, you took that character and made it a lesbian, you know, I don't know, like pro pride character to stick up for all the lesbians out there. It's like, what? Why would you do that to that character? But that, you keep pushing that kind of stuff. It's just people are going to walk away. So apparently he got a memo saying we're losing a lot of money and people are losing faith in our product. Something needs to change. And if it doesn't change, so he's like, well, let me start using right-wing talking points. Whoa, DEI. Maybe that'll get their attention and they'll come back to the theater.
And we have female Silver Surfer. There's a reason that female Silver Surfer was used in Fantastic Four.
Exactly.
Remember these early Phase 5 and shit, or whatever Eternals was, when they decided specifically to use the Eternals because they were a little bit lesser known, so that they could gender swap and race swap all of them and include all these relationships. They could do whatever they wanted with them. That fucking bombed. That didn't work out very well for them. You've introduced all these characters that no one gives two shits about. Guess what? Sam Wilson. People really like Sam Wilson as Falcon. In the comics, when Sam Wilson got the shield, it didn't work out very well. There's a reason it didn't work out very well. People didn't want to see the character with the shield. They liked him as Falcon. So then you bring that idea to the big screen, and spoiler alert, didn't work out very well. Like that. This is what we're talking about.
I mean, you can say the same thing like Black Panther, very successful. You decide to swap him out for a woman, and people were upset, angry, and like, your product stinks. They still didn't recast for another Black Panther.
Now, I also believe that when asked this question, I don't think there's any chance in hell that even if internally they were like, maybe we should focus on the characters that people like, maybe we should stop pushing for quite so much of this. I feel like there's no way in hell he would answer that question if that was going on internally. He would probably say something like this. Now, what I would love for him to say is, look, ultimately, we obviously made a big push for a lot of representation in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Some of those projects worked out better than others. At the end of the day, I think we need to step back and realize that the most important thing, regardless of race or gender or sexuality or whatever we're trying to put into these movies, the most important thing is the story and the character. If we can't write a compelling story, if we don't have a character that people are invested in, then we can't be successful. So ultimately, we want to use all these characters that we have from the comic books, but we want to make sure that the fans are happy. That's how I would have tiptoed around that question if I was leading this fucking studio, right? Where you can not be like, yeah, fuck this woke shit. We ain't doing that shit anymore. But you can also try to appease some other people.
I just think they just got so full of themselves that they were too big to fail, and people would just consume. And now here we are.
And look, it worked. This worked for a while. Same thing with Star Wars. You could slap on it, you can make $1 million or $1 billion, whatever. They were successfully able to have people go to see Captain Marvel, right? How did they do that? A character that no one is invested in the comic books, a character that nobody likes, books have been canceled multiple times, can't stand the character, all this stuff. They were able to do that by the cliffhanger of, at that point, the biggest movie in comic book history was a tease for Captain Marvel. And then the next 12 months almost of press were telling you that this is the movie that is the connective tissue between this and the movie that will then go on to be the biggest movie of all time and in comic book history, Avengers Endgame. This is the important key piece of the puzzle. You have to see this movie. And that's how they were able to do that, even though people didn't particularly like the character or the movie. Obviously, a lot of people were invested in the MCU as a whole. A lot of people got burned by that. And guess what? We need a follow-up to that. You could see the real demand for the character.
Came.
Yeah, you could see the real demand for the character.
Nobody came. Nobody cared. And would you say that was the worst MCU movie you've ever seen? The Marvels?
Probably.
That one was pretty bad.
It was pretty rough.
They broke out into song halfway through. I mean, that was well, speaking of like what's coming, the marketing for Fantastic Four, they really are doing something. I hope you don't mind this transition. Just gonna try to sneak it
get her done.
Over at Disney, at the theme parks, if you're interested in Fantastic Four stuff, they're going all out with the food and items that you could buy. Look at that. We've got holy crap, blue cheese sticks, cookies, ice cream, and fire popcorn, I guess. So here's a list. I won't go through them all. Don't worry. I won't bore everyone. But they're trying to like market a family first 4-item combo: cheese or pepperoni pizza slice served with a side garden salad, specialty dessert, and a specialty beverage.
Look, I'm always down for pizza, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are too.
That'll work on me. I don't want them big pepperonis though. Right? You see how big them pepperonis are? Go scroll up a little.
Yeah, these right here.
Yeah, I don't like them big pepperonis. I like them a little smaller so you can, make sure you get more in each. What you don't want to do is bite down on that thing and then it drags all the cheese off.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about.
I agree. I don't even know what that is. Some kind of burnt. There's the cookie. Looks like Fantastic Four to me.
A little black and white cookie.
Yeah. There's the I guess it's supposed to be a little fire popcorn, but then they released
that's actually kind of cool. Yeah.
They released these items that you could take home and, have some fun with all your friends. The clobber and sipper with a stretchy man straw. So here we've got a little video, Ryan.
What time is it? It's sipping time. Time for a bolder way to drink. Quench your thirst with the all-new Clobber and Sipper.
Need a hand?
With double opening action. Whoa! Not even Galactus can surpass the thirst-crushing power in your hands. Add to your power with the Mr. Fantastic Straw. Whoa! Item sold separately.
There you go. So you can have a sipper that you have in your arm, in your fist.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of like that commercial because it reminds me of commercials in the 90s.
Yeah. So they're selling these sippers. I don't know, probably for a limited time. Quick access to your favorite fountain drink, and then you can get the Stretchy Man or Stretchy Man. Listen to me, Mr. Fantastic Straw. That's what you need. Him looking at you. They also released this video just a few moments ago. That if you are in the Disneyland area and you want to meet the Fantastic Four, it's only a few seconds. These are the actors that they got playing over in Tomorrowland. The thing looks pretty good. Oh, we'll keep going. There's
Pedro.
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic. There's Johnny Storm. Fantastic. You got the music right. So yeah, you can meet all the characters.
And Herbie.
Yeah, Herbie's gonna be rolling around there.
Thing looks pretty good, to be honest. I like the little shot we got of him looked shockingly good for like a meet and greet type of thing, No,
it'll be pretty popular. I don't know about Johnny Storm though. That looks a little.
It looks like he's a woman, to be honest.
Yeah, that looks pretty wild. But yeah, anyway, that's the things that are happening over at the theme park with the Fantastic Four promotion. Sipper cups, popcorns, cookies, and drinks. They're going all out, hoping that people will go to the theater and see this. They will also have, I think, they're going to do something at Universal because here in Orlando, Universal Studios owns the right to a lot of the older Marvel characters. So they even might get in on that.
There's a whole Fantastic Four restaurant, basically.
Correct.
At Universal Islands, yeah.
Correct. So they even have a Sue Storm ride. Sorry, fellas. It's just a teacup spinner. That's all.
I'd ride Sue Storm. Just looking at that freaking thing hand. Well, how awkward do you think it is when he jerks off, like in the Baxter building? Like
Make sure
everybody
you,
can hear him just rock polishing. Like you go into the bathroom and there's just like a bunch of orange dust on the ground. You like knew exactly what happened in here.
make sure you cut that part out for the park hopping video. We'll stop right at the end.
I waited until the end. I waited
Yeah, I
until
know.
we were
I
done.
got you. Yeah, there you go. I'll make sure to get one for you,
I
Ryan.
wanted to say it. I wanted to say it while it was still like on screen, but I decided to.
Oh, that looks.
I fucking love cheese sticks. But I don't like that it looks like that.
I don't like that it looks like that. Ryan 2025.
I don't.
No, that looks like a butter dish, I thought, but it's some kind of like dessert. So anyway, I didn't want to take up too much time.
Oh,
Fantastic Four.
They did have the music popping.
Yeah.
I really like the Fantastic Four like hit that music when it hits. My question is, how will that? Are they ever going to play that in the movie? Because it would feel strange to play like the soundtrack to a movie be self-referential to like vocally to the movie. Like that would be very strange, I don't know. Tobias Nexus. I'm looking forward to the end of this week. Thursday, Killing Floor 3 comes out. Hard to believe the original mod came out 20 years ago as a total conversion for UTO4. Oh, and I turned 35 on Saturday. You're getting old, Tobias. What is that in dog years? But no, happy early birthday,
happy
Tobias.
Birthday.
Happy early birthday. Dog years? Tired retro gamer for 5. I was also at that 6-year first Comic-Con meeting in San Diego. I was the only woman at the coffee shop and bar. LOL. Really? Tired retro gamer. My memories are so fuzzy from that. I don't know if you remember me or not, but yeah, that first one. That's where I met Gary and Jeremy, and my life went downhill. Andre CR for 2,500. How much is the blue hand? Asking for a friend. I don't know. I ain't gonna click on it. Maximus BT says, Shiitake.
There it is.
Thank you, Maximus. Daggernall comes a channel member. Thank you. Bungles Twanger. Superman's suit survived fire, blades, and crashing into concrete and more, but it's just regular cloth made by his hick mom. Not sure. Maybe there's a backstory there about it was with, made it out of some of the fabric that was with his Kryptonian. I don't know. We did James Gunn did have to come out and clear up that despite the fact that the movie is not clever or deep or really have any hidden meanings, the people that were desperately looking for one by trying to justify the Jor-El thing not being real, because even if they like the movie, they don't actually like that change. So they're trying to justify that it was fake. He came out and said, I don't know why anyone would think that it's fucking fake. I told you like 3 fucking times it's real, and you're retarded if you don't understand that. He didn't say it in those words, but that's basically what he said. So yeah, the Jor-El thing is real, not altered. It's real. Dark Knight Rider for 2. Jay's TV idea has to be called We Was Kangs.
I think it would work. They should have. That's what all I'm saying is, but I guess my point was with all that is the Marvel stuff that they put on Disney Plus should be completely separate, from the blockbuster films. I mean, they could have some kind of tie-in, but no way do you need to watch those shows to know what's going on in the films. It should be the complete opposite.
They had a show like that. It was called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
Right.
In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was a pretty long-running show on ABC at the time, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. went off story, and as things happen in the MCU, they would kind of reflect those things that were happening, and if something was happening and like with S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra was taking over, that would become a plot point in something, but nothing ever happened in that affected the MCU. Right? It was not in continuity with the rest of the MCU. they had that for a long time. And now, obviously, things have changed. They've pretty much opened everything up. They're bringing the Netflix shows in. I imagine at some point we'll get some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff in there as well. But when it was happening, that's how they did it. Yanks fan. I saw an X, Pedro Pascal's trans brother wants to be Jean Grey. Yeah, he said that a couple weeks ago, but it continues every couple days. It'll like make the rounds again. Grizzly Nightmare for 5. Have either of you had bacon wrapped hot dogs? By the way, I fry my hot dogs in bacon grease until the skin gets crispy.
Why, yes, I have.
That sounds like an excellent way to do it. I might have had 1 or 2 in my life, but it's not something I have.
I haven't made them. I think I bought them at a.
Might have had one at a
I had them in Texas
or something.
Yeah, I think I might have had that in Texas.
Trevor Rich.
Sorry about that. My brain's a little slow.
Trevor Rich, Ryan, for the Star Wars EU convention in Dallas. I read it was 3 days. Will you be there all 3 days? Well, just to be clear, it's not really a convention. It is just kind of some people hanging out. I should be there all the days, yes.
What? I didn't know about this.
It's because it's not really a convention. It is a...
You didn't want your co-host to come? All right.
Are you there? You froze for a second for me.
Really?
You didn't want your co-host?
I said you want your co-host to come?
That's the thing. It is not like a convention. It is...
Okay.
So... It's kind of a long story, but there was supposed to be a big Star Wars Expanded Universe convention that happened in Dallas. It was called Legends Con 2 or something. And I was looking forward to it. Thought it'd be cool. It fell through. They had to cancel everything. A lot of the authors that they had that were going to be there, kind of left high and dry. All this stuff. A bunch of people that had bought tickets and hotels, all that stuff kind of got shafted. And it's all bullshit. All because a lot of these people didn't want to reach out to people like me to promote it because I'm too toxic, whatever. So myself, Matt Wilkins, who I do a podcast with, and Brian Borg from Twin Sons Foundation, which is a charity that gives away Star Wars Expanded Universe books. We're like, you know what? There's a lot of people that just wanted to go and hang out with some people. We're going to go there. So it's not a convention. It's literally, we're just doing it in a hotel. We've got like a hotel conference room where we're just going to be hanging out. We're going to do like a live version of our podcast. We're going to be playing Star Wars based, board games, stuff like that, just for a couple days. It's really low key. So please do not go there expecting it to be a convention, but I will be there. So yeah.
That sounds cool though.
I hope it'll be cool.
It was low key at the Transformers convention too. And I like that better.
Yeah.
It's like you just had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's all it's going to be. And it's going to be like people that are fans of the Star Wars Expanded Universe.
Right.
So that's just what it is. It's going to be very, very low key. Not a convention. James all day for 2. They should have never fired like Ike Perlmutter. It's true. Ike would have kept this shit in check. Blue food looks like what happens after you consume too much methylene blue. Maybe.
Is that new wonder drug going around, methylene blue, that I keep hearing about? Was that what the Liver King is on? I don't know.
Whatever he's on, I don't want it.
Yeah, same.
Colin Warbrought for 5. Hey guys, my birthday was yesterday, and I'm blessed to have the same birthday as the late but legendary Billy Mays. Wow, happy birthday, Colin! And in honor of Billy Mays, I guess what did he promote? Promote pretty much everything, right? OxyClean. I think I remember Billy Mays doing OxyClean.
Billy Mays died of a cocaine overdose at like 49, I think.
Wow, very young.
Billy Mays here. OxyClean. He was always yelling like me. Like he sold his product.
I basically yell during my videos. Achilles Jones for 5. Captain Marvel. Releasing Blackwood after Endgame was a big mistake. I think Marvel was surprised by the success of Wonder Woman. Too late. 100%. They saw Wonder Woman making, $900 million or whatever it was, and they were like, all right, let's fast track one. It was Captain Marvel, unfortunately. Brady Crippen for 5. You guys should get all those F4 stuff for Gary. I'm sure he'll love it. I don't have enough money. Lance, why did Lex Luthor have a goblin man barge pilot? I don't know. The Pocket Dimension had a lot of interesting shit in it. Hero of Canton. Maybe Tobias gets off his leash and runs into traffic. Maybe. Joseph Salazar for 5. I think after Secret Wars, they should take a break for 5 years. Yeah, but then they can't lose. Then they can't lose money.
Think about taking a break is one thing. They should have and we've all said this a million times. Is like after Endgame, they should have closed the book on the Avengers. I did say that they should have started off a Fantastic Four universe or an X-Men universe and kind of took the same approach as they did. You do a couple origin stories here and there, but just like a new division. And you don't have to like over mix things, you know? And the beautiful thing about that, Spider-Man can be involved in all of these. Spider-Man can be a part of the X-Men. You know, if you did an X-Men series type thing, you'd be part of the Fantastic Four universe, all that stuff. So you have a big gun there that you could use if you wanted to. So they should have just shut the Avengers down and they could have even gone to another universe if they wanted to and just started over. That's it.
Well, we'll see what happens going forward. Derek PG Beller, Foxtrot uniform, Charlie Kilo, Yankee Oscar uniform, Juliet Alpha Yankee. Let's see if Jay understands.
I don't.
He said, fuck you, Jay.
Oh, thank you.
But secret code, you know.
Thank you.
We got a $50 super chat from Soul Mirror. What's up, Soul Mirror? For 50, because I know how much you love pineapple on pizza, Ryan. A large Hawaiian pizza on me.
Hey, look at that.
Well, as much as I appreciate the super chat, fuck you, Soul Mirror. You know damn well I don't want a fucking Hawaiian pizza. But thank you for the super chat. Might have to just maybe I'll get a Hawaiian pizza, but it'll be a custom order, and I'll remove all the shit I don't want and just add pepperoni. Maybe that. We'll do pepperoni and bacon. How about that? That's about as Hawaiian as I want to be. Thank you, Soul Mirror. Matt Stranger, XRP just passed Nike, Jay. Jade's NFT incoming. DC making a Jimmy Olsen show where he investigates different DC villains.
Let's go, XRP.
I did see a lot of stuff about a lot of people repeating a Jimmy Olsen shows in the works. I think a lot of these things that they're announcing right now are not going to come to fruition. It's based on like what we've seen before from some of this stuff. Do you remember after like the weekend after Wonder Woman 1984 dropped and they were like, we're so proud of what this did. Wonder Woman 3 on the way, you know, it is a tactic they often use, but I don't even know if that one was officially like announced by James Gunn, who has announced a lot of different things in the works, but I don't know about the Jimmy Olsen one for sure.
Do you think that happens just to test the waters?
1,000,000%.
Yeah. So it's like if it got like super trendy and everybody's like, this has got to happen, and they're like, okay, I think there's a market for it.
It is also right. It is also done as a promotion tool, and as a PR tool. So like, Wonder Woman 1984 was a fucking disaster. Obviously, it's tough to really know what that movie would have done if it got a full theatrical release, as opposed to being released on the same day in theaters and on HBO Max. Remember, that was one of the ones they did that with. So it's tough to know what it would have done standalone. But yeah, of course. Don't you think that shows confidence that you're happy with everything when it's like, well, we're so happy with this movie. The third one's on the way, guys. Like, it's try to trick people into think that you're happy with this internally, regardless of whether you are or not. 100%. Let's see. Where am I? Master Austin, the gifted membership. Thank you, Master Austin. Stephen McBride, does Jay's Black Kids help G&G's DI score?
I don't keep them around, so no.
The black ones help, the Asian ones hurt.
Yeah, that's true. They help with the math score, though.
The Trillist, Billy Mays, I think I should lay off the coke. Dealer, but wait, there's more.
That's good.
Mackie, could Jay give his ranking of the Indiana Jones films?
Yeah. Basically, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Then Last Crusade, Temple of Doom. The number 4 one was Shia LaBeouf, and then the 5th one doesn't exist. I hate that film too. The Dial of Destiny is the worst piece of trash Indiana Jones film ever. It's awful. I'll take the Young Indiana Jones Adventures over those last 2 films if you want my honest opinion. Even though Temple of Doom is my absolute favorite one, it's not the best one. It just happens to be my favorite one.
Those are the correct. That is the correct rankings for Indiana Jones movies. I thought you were going to put Temple ahead of Last Crusade.
That's a personal preference, but it's not the best. It's obviously it's not the best one. Yeah.
It's been a while since I watched the Indiana Jones movies.
Every now and then, I just start with one, and you end up finishing all 3, like a big bag of Oreos.
Nader's Bricks, Hawaiian Pizza is disgusting. I agree with Ryan. But you are a man of culture, sir. We got to talk about Superman's box office, Jay, because let me pull this up.
How's it doing?
Well, we got the second weekend. And to be honest, I think that all the things we've kind of been talking about over the past week, we're still seeing it after the second weekend. Superman coming out with an okay opening weekend domestically, that 125 million, certainly not blowing the lid off anything, but okay. But with some rather soft international numbers, Superman had a great hold throughout the week and a solid hold over the weekend. And now we get this headline. Superman flexes impressive staying power, flies past $400 million globally. And I think the most impressive thing that we've seen box office from this movie were the weekday holds that it had. Like the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday numbers were really good. Over the weekend, didn't hold quite as well as something like Guardians 3 or The Batman, about a 54% drop. More on par with the Thunderbolts kind of 56% drop, right in that area. But the one thing that we have to continue to talk about is what we have been talking about the past week. And regardless of how many people want to ignore it or make excuses, the international box office returns are extremely low for this movie. And it remains that way. As you can see, pretty big difference. You've got about a, $60-70 million difference. I think the international box office numbers actually came in a little higher than this. So probably closer to 170 international for like 405 worldwide, but a pretty big discrepancy there. And the reason that's important is because we can compare this movie, Jay, right, to a couple other ones. I think 2 of the best ones to compare it to as of recently are The Batman, a well-received DC movie that had a pretty strong hold, and Guardians of the Galaxy 3, a pretty well-received James Gunn Marvel movie that had a pretty strong second weekend hold. And you can look at how these do stack up. So 54% drop for Superman, open at 125, 54% drop. The Batman opened a little higher, 134, had a slightly better second weekend hold at about 50% drop. Guardians, little lower opening, but a better hold, 48% drop. And you look at these numbers, you say that's right around there. 214 million through 2 weekends for Guardians, 239 million through 2 weekends for Superman, or for the Batman, and then 235 through 2 weekends domestically for Superman. The difference is these international numbers are vastly fucking different. And I can show you why. Around 400 million globally for Superman through 2 weekends. Put that in perspective, the Batman in the same given time period, $463 million. Guardians through that same time period, $530 million globally. So we're starting to see why that matters and why we've been talking about how that matters. And look, if it tracks similarly to those movies, and this is without taking into account it's losing its IMAX screens. This is without saying maybe it just has an even better hold than we thought, without saying, well, Fantastic Four is coming. That's a lot of direct competition. Regardless of all that, if it tracks similar to those 2 movies through the next, several weeks, you would end up with something in like the $640 million range finale. Now, a lot of other factors are obviously at play, but that's why I've been talking about this idea of this movie blowing up. It's not possible with the international numbers the way that they are. and it might not even make enough to break even theatrically.
Now, then they have some major, obviously, they have some major competition coming up this weekend as well. So that's just going to like put a big stop on whatever, if it had a little momentum, it's not going to do very well again this weekend. I mean, we're looking at maybe 500-600 total worldwide.
Look, it is 6. I wish people would stop saying 5 because I think that the movie is going to have no problem getting past 5. I think 600 million is that kind of range where it's going to be 600, maybe a little more, something like that. I think 700, it would have to hold. Again, it would have to have better holds throughout its life than like incredibly better holds than the Batman and Guardians. And I just don't see that happening. I think they're going to be comparable holds. They've been comparable so far. But the problem is the international numbers are significantly lower. So you're behind in your starting point. But the idea of it like not making 5, I don't think that that's reasonable based on the relatively good word of mouth and hold that it's had already. So I see a lot of people saying it won't make it past 5. I think it will. Fairly.
Yeah, that's why I asked. So you can break it down.
600 is like, I think maybe like where 625. That's kind of where I view the movie ending up. 630, 640, somewhere around there, which is less than Man of Steel.
So far, so good.
Which is less than 700 million, which according to the numbers they gave us would be around the break-even point, 700 million. That's not factoring in what we know is more expensive marketing, more expensive budget, all that stuff. Just using the numbers they gave us, 700 mil is basically the break-even point.
The prediction is still holding true that Jurassic World Rebirth will win July box office. Unless Fantastic Four blows everyone out of the water.
I don't think any way Fantastic Four makes like $1 billion or something.
Yeah.
But we'll have to pay very close attention this weekend because Fantastic Four. I saw some bullshit that came out where it was
did
like,
you see this? Hold on. I'm going to send it to your DMs. Are you able to look at it real quick?
Sure.
This just dropped from Variety. Is this the same? This is the same stuff that he said to Rolling Stone that we already went over. James Gunn talking about anti-American sentiment around the world right now is not helping Superman at the global box office. And we knew that was going to be the issue. Like eventually they were going to blame the president for terrible box office performance. So we predicted it. I knew it was gonna basically saying it's Trump's fault. That's what he's saying. So this is new, right? This is
a brand new thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Now
Jay did something good, chat. Look at that. I helped Ryan out.
Now I do not like the arguments about, look, the reason that we started talking about the immigrant thing and all of that stuff was because of James Gunn's interviews in the first place.
Correct.
That's the reason people said that about a week before it came out. Watching the movie, I don't think that that's a problem with the movie. I don't think that there is look at this messaging and that. I don't think that's the problem with the movie at all. I wouldn't describe the movie as well. I just wouldn't. There are some people who have like doubled down on that even after watching the movie. I don't consider myself one of them. But I don't think those are most of the complaints about it. Now, I want to get into the kindness thing, blah, blah, blah. An American value. That was an American value, was kindness. And it doesn't necessarily seem to be that way to me anymore. So that was the center of the movie for me. It wasn't about anything other than that. I want to get to what you were talking about.
Yeah, that was just on the Twitter quote that I sent over.
We're definitely performing better domestically than we are internationally, but internationally is also rising. We're having really good weekday numbers in the same way we are, he said in a separate interview with Rolling Stone. So obviously the word of mouth is very positive here and everywhere else, which is the thing we needed to do the most. Not make money, have good word of mouth. At the same time, there are certain countries in which it's really performing well. Brazil and the UK. UK had a solid second weekend. Brazil is doing well in Latin America. Superman is not a known commodity in some places. He's not a big known superhero in some places like Batman is. That affects things. And it also affects things that we have a certain amount of anti-American sentiment around the world right now. It isn't really helping us. So I think it's just a matter of letting something grow. But again, for us, everything's been a total win. Yeah, everything's been a total win, which is why we've been desperately trying to spin our poor international numbers for the past 2 weeks. Everything's been a total win. We promise, guys. We'll be happy if it makes $500 million. It's a total win. This is them trying to excuse away poor international numbers. They have been very solid domestically, and I do think there's a chance this thing goes on to make $350 million domestically. Internationally, they might have a tough time getting to 250. And that's the reality. And that's where you're seeing this fucking cope. This is what they're trying to do. And the idea that you're saying, well, everyone hates America, which is why Superman's not performing well.
How do you
what
say
is
that?
What is it? Do they not know who he is? Do they not know who Superman is? He's not a known quantity. Or do they know exactly who he is and they hate America? Fucking pick one of your excuses.
I agree. I think that's a stupid statement to say that people don't know who Superman is. That's what I'm saying. I think that's some major cope. He might not be as popular as Batman in certain areas, but I don't think people don't know who he is. That character's been around forever, man. For absolute ever. Interesting.
Yeah, this is spin.
He should have just said
Making
Trump's
excuses.
the reason.
Like, that's what they're doing. 100% that's what this is. We're happy with everything, though. We promise.
Yeah. Who's Superman again? I never really heard of him.
If this movie makes $600 million, right? That is not a total massive flop, whatever. It is a massive disappointment, right? A movie that's not going to break even theatrically. A movie that made less than fucking Man of Steel did 12 years ago, right? You just did all of this stuff, and now you're not even making that type of money anymore. Like, if you only make 600 mil worldwide from this, it is going to be considered a massive disappointment internally and from everyone else, despite whatever way they try to fucking spin it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Thank you, Jay. You made me mad, though.
Didn't mean to trigger your blood pressure.
James Gunn did that.
Yeah.
Logan Johnson for 10, still voting for Doom to waste everyone, and I'll still take pepperoni and bacon over pineapple any day. Hell yeah, Logan. Hero of Canton, anti-American sentiment is a major cope.
Major.
Elite Neo, hi, Ryan Mays here to call out the bullshit. Thank you. Snacks for a buck. I had a college professor that took us to try pizza with slices of banana at the end of the semester.
Whoa.
I ate it, but I'd never order it myself. Was he trying to fuck you or something? What? Icanalist for 2. Indiana Jones in the search for the keys in his hands. Hey, I've done that before, and I'm not that old.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
My wallet's missing. My wallet's missing.
Hero of Can for 2. Ryan needs to step up the coke and be gone by 55. I wish. Can't afford that. Not that I can't afford to die. I can't afford to kill myself in that way. I need a cheaper option. Taker for 5. But guys, every piece of media has always been woke and political. You've probably heard that, but Superman can't be woke because he likes America.
Well, it's Trump's fault.
Tree Bear. Pepperoni and jalapeno over anything else. I like pepperoni and jalapeno. Look, the standard, if you're going to tell me it's your last meal, you're getting one pizza before you die, I'm doing a pepperoni pizza.
Yeah. Extra cheese
I do like, on occasion, Pepperoni with jalapeno, I'll do it. Pepperoni and bacon, I'll do it. Meat lovers, I'll do it. Supreme, I'll do it. Like, but if you're telling me I get to eat one pizza and then die, pepperoni. Pepperoni. But that's it. We're all caught up. Jay, what do you got going on today?
Tonight on the Monday Hangover on the Drunk 3PO channel, we're going over the Back to the Future movies. 40th anniversary of Back to the Future happened a few weeks ago. So we're going to be reviewing and going over those films. Should be fun. That's it.
There you go. All right. That's it. We're done. Hope everybody
Finished.
has a what?
I said we're finished.
Oh, not quite. Elite Neo, in the immortal words of Gordon Ramsay, you don't put pineapple on a fucking pizza. Good idea, Gordon Ramsay. All right. That's it, everybody. Also, Canadian bacon is fucking gay, just for the record. All right. Bye, everybody.